Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra and I'm sitting here with Donovan, recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. And this is the Demetra K Show, the podcast. Yes, keep hope alive. Okay. This is the podcast. We are not live, but we'll be live later with you at 5 p.m. Central Time, just a few hours from this point. But I like to say, first of all, thank you, Donovan, for being here. Also say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. We are going to be talking about a woman that has some advice, I guess, for the women. Now, for the sake of the conversation, I like to make it interchangeable. The things that, and it's a short video, but I think it's a good conversation. Donovan has not seen it yet, but we'll get his opinion as soon as we do. Donovan, how are you?
As usual, I am doing great. It is hot out here in the Mojave Desert, Riverside, respectively, Moreno Valley. Staying undercover. But hey, you guys, we have a scrolling banner at the bottom there. And if you guys want to do us a favor and you want to continue to help contribute, have these great conversations, there's ways that you can contribute as you see it down there. It's going to be Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, cash, money order, however else you guys want to do it. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. The most cost-effective way is an annual membership. But also, I believe Brother Phil Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Phil Scott is doing a lifetime membership. And if you can, afford that, that would be definitely a great way, because as we know, as time goes on and technology goes on, the prices have to be increased. But if you lock into a lifetime membership, that's your price for the lifetime. See, so you might want to consider doing that, and then you'll get great videos that you don't always see on the YouTube algorithm from Demetra, Brother Phil Scott, Vicky Dillard, Juan Gale, and all the other great contributors that contribute to the app. So please go ahead and download that. Great graduation gift, great birthday gift. I mean, it's a lot of stuff is happening in the African diaspora. And if you don't know what's going on, you are going to be late to the party. So let's go ahead and do that. But I haven't seen this video. I don't know what's happening with the video. And by the way, Demetra, I will be writing a nice little short novel talking about the traveling Speedos around the globe. What do you think?
Well, I definitely agree. It will be a short little, like you said, a short little novel is perfect. I like it already. Anyway, as I said, I was on TikTok, very interesting place to be. And I happened upon this woman, a very beautiful woman. And she said something that kind of caught my attention. So I'm going to play it for you again. It's not that long, so pay close attention. You ready? Here we go.
What you want, but I do not believe a woman who is out of shape deserves to be in a relationship. When it comes to love, there are rules one must abide by, and the first one is love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So if you cannot love yourself enough to make sure you are physically fit, emotionally fit, spiritually fit, baby, you are not qualified to love anybody else. Feel how you want.
Okay. Did you get that, Donovan? Okay, so I'm going to remove that. So as I said, I happened upon it and I listened to it. And at first I was like, and then I listened to it again. I was like, okay. So basically she said women, that's why I said I want to make it interchangeable to include men too, right? Just for the sake of conversation. She basically says if you're not physically, mentally, spiritually, and I think maybe she said financially, but we'll throw that in if she didn't. If you're not fit in those ways, you should not be in a relationship. And as you can see, she seems like she was fit. Now, I don't know about the other things. I didn't go into her comment section because I kind of thought maybe how it would go. Because as I said initially, I had the thought of the heck she talking about. What? And again, as I said, as I listened to it again, I was like, oh, well, maybe she has a point. So, Donovan, do you have any issues with what she said at all?
Well, first issue I have with her, she looks like my little cousin. I was like, oh, that girl's beautiful. Oh my God, is that my cousin? But anyway, no, I actually, for as young as she is to have that kind of insight, I'm not saying they don't have that insight, but as we know, life takes us on various paths and journeys. It would be nice in a perfect world to go through all of that, but in reality, it doesn't necessarily happen. Now, speaking as a man, I agree with it. How are you demanding these women be, fit, fine, and all this other stuff, and you got the Peter Griffith belly, and you're not really into shape yourself, and you're demanding all these things, and you're not those things yourself. So I kind of agree with it coming from a man's perspective, because a man's perspective is to lead. And if you're not leading, you have no, in my opinion, no qualification to demand anything else. You have to lead by example. So I would agree, coming from a man's perspective, that you have to be all the things that you demand people around you to be.
Yeah. And like I said, originally I kind of had a screw face just a little bit. And then I thought about it a little bit more critically, and I agree with her. Now I know some people are gonna be like, what? I agree with her. I'd say pretty much 100%, because I think we should all strive to be the best who we are. Now, being fit is subjective, right? Fit to somebody might be different to somebody else, right? So I don't know. In her mind, fit might be a size 4. To somebody else, fit might be a size 10, or whatever that is, right? Does fit always mean healthy? Because when I hear fit, I see, you look physically fit, but are you healthy? When I'm at my age of 54, I'm like, yeah, you could be fit. I need you to be healthy too, because we're older. And as I always say, y'all can judge me, your mama, your daddy, I don't care. I'm not going to take care of no man who's physically not taking care of himself. I'm not. If you have a problem with drinking water, eating vegetables, and walking or exercising, then you ain't the man for me, okay? And I'm going to say this just for me, okay? I am done and will no longer entertain a man that I got to plead with to go walking or work out or eat baked chicken and not fried chicken, or, a salad. As I said, Donovan, you and a couple other men are some of the only men that I know that eat salad, right? You and a couple other men, and I'm gonna say brothers that eat salads. Me personally, no, I'm not gonna be begging you like I'm your mama when you were 3. Oh, eat these vegetables. Oh, they're really good for you. I'm not gonna be doing all that. I need a man to come to the table who's like, baby, where the vegetables at? French fries is cool, but where the broccoli? Where the spinach? Whatever, fried chicken is cool, baby, but can I get some baked chicken? Can I get some piece of fish, or whatever the case is, right? So I get what she's saying, and it matters more to, like I said, when you're older, because that stuff catches up to you, right? Like, I'm 54, and I give you a cute little story. I was in Walmart today, and I was looking for a eyeliner, right? And the lady says, are you looking for a specific brand? I said, no, I'm not particular. I'm Wet and Wild. I said, that's a triple OG of makeup. I remember when it came out. And she says, really? I said, yeah, I remember before it even came out. Wet and Wild was all the rave in the 80s. She goes, well, I was born in 86. When were you born?
You don't have the chlamydia, lip balm, whatever from
No, I ain't
Sexy
got
Red?
the Sexy Red line. No. She says, I was born in 86. She goes, what year were you born? I said, 71. She says, no way. Now, mind you, I just came back from the gym, had my baseball cap on and stuff. I said, yeah, 71. I remember when this came out. So I'm saying, I don't know how young I look in the larger scheme of things. I might look 54, but I listen. I don't want to be no man that look rolled hard to put away wet, okay? I see a lot of people that are my age or younger, and it's like, what have you been doing? You drug across one side of town and back the other. So I get what she's saying. And like I said, Donovan, at our age, it matters in more than one way, not just really how you look. Yeah, it's cool to be with somebody who's physically fit, but when you get this age, gravity is like, I won.
Undefeated. Gravity is undefeated. Before we go, you guys see this logo that I have on? Demetra understands why I have to wear this logo. My mama cat, Misty, who's 17 years old, which is about 119 in human years, if you go by 7. I think animals are by 9 every year. So she's a minimum of 119 years old. This is our family official logo now. I cannot go to the gym without wearing this logo. I can't wear Nike anymore. I can't wear, Under Armour. It has to be this, because those are guys that know me. Not only do I have Benny the dog, but notice I only have one dog. But Demetra will tell you, I have a lot of cats. Okay, I have cats all over the place, right? And we love cats. Everybody in my family, we love cats. On my mom's side, we are cat people. So that is my official logo. But in regards to this topic, Demetra, and I'm going to tell you at my age, I'm 55. I can't even have a meal anymore. If a woman's going to prepare a meal for me, there better be some type of vegetable on, excuse me, guys, on the side. I don't know what these guys keep. How do these spammers keep getting your numbers? But I got to have some kind of vegetable. I don't care if it's spinach, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. I've got to have. You guys, when you're a little bit older, when we're middle aged, especially for the men, colon health is important. It is important. You need roughage. You need roughage to process through your system. I mean, being physically fit is more important when you're older than when you're younger. When you're younger, you can go and do things and your body repairs itself really quick, but our metabolism slows down. So I can't be with the woman that prepares a meal and doesn't have some kind of greenage on the side. Be it corn, put some kind of vegetable on the side. I got to have something. So, but I have a question for you. And when we talk about physically fit and things, and I want to ask it from your perspective as a woman. Now, we know that I go to the DR, but I don't just go to the DR. I go to other countries as well. And when I see brothers, sometimes it seems there's a trend, Demetra, and you're down in Houston. You probably see it more than I do here in California. What is going on with these brothers walking around with this big ass sweat rag on their shoulders and in wife beaters? I mean, as a woman, when you see that, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
It could be a few things. It depends on where they are and what they're doing. But if they might be hot, right? Some people are sweaters or whatever. That when I say sweat, they sweat a lot. So maybe it's to dab the sweat off or whatever the case is. The wife beater, like I said, if you out in the public, I don't personally like a man outside with a wife beater on. I don't like women outside with panty shorts. That's what I call them, or bonnets, or any of that kind of stuff. But if he's working out, cool, right? But if he's just kind of sloshing around, because then when I see here the wife beater and the rag, I also envision he's got on some slides and he's with socks on, nevertheless. So yeah, it's not something.
And the reason I bring that up, like, so when I'm talking about traveling, when you see an American guy traveling like that, and I've noticed in my travels, I see these brothers that are overweight. You just see that they're overweight, and you're in these humid countries where it's very humid and stuff, and you've got to have like I said, I'm a fairly average guy, slim. I don't have a sweat rag. I don't need to walk around with a sweat rag because I'm doing my thing, whatever I'm doing. But I noticed, just like we criticize the women about bonnets and their appearance, the same thing with the men. I'm not saying, you can't be a certain thing, but if you have to have a sweat rag and you're not naturally a big person, you're just overweight, obese. Let's just say that. Brothers, you got to get back into the gym. Again, I see in my travels, I see these guys, and I know we're men and stuff like this, but do you guys realize as men, the amount of us that are being taken off the planet at a young age? There's a bunch of us. And I'm just saying, you got to walk it like you talk it, fellas. I mean, I'm seeing guys that are younger than me, heart attacks and just, stroking out, and, cholesterol. I have high cholesterol and I'm a fairly fit person. And that's hereditary. So I got to do what I got to do that. But fellas, all I'm saying is our appearance is just as important. It's just as important as we expect the women. So like that girl said, leading and, you got to lead by example. You got to be, fit in your mind, your body, your health, so on and so forth, before you could demand these women to to do the same. Because like I said, I see a lot of brothers that aren't that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And so, as far as physically, and I kind of want to tackle her points, point by point, physically speaking. Yeah, you should work out. It's recommended 3 times a week, right? Get it in 3 times a week, some cardio, weightlifting, especially at our age. They suggest that you lift weights, especially women. I'm 54 and I'm gonna keep saying that because I'm not ashamed. I have people all the time say, "Oh, you're not ashamed to say how old you are." I say, "Yeah, I know. Traditionally, we hear women say, "Oh, I know the lady doesn't tell her age." It's like, well, we could tell you ain't no spring chicken gloater. You know what I mean? So, but we gotta we gotta lift weights because we get osteoporosis with menopause going on and all of that. Then that's why a lot of times you see people, especially women, kind of bent over because your bones, the calcium and all of that, you're losing all of that. So your body is like, yeah, and then with that, a lot of times you have more weight on you. So that doesn't help. So you have to get in the gym or go walking. You don't have to go to the gym. You can have stuff at home, some little light weights or whatever the case is. Do that a couple times a week. Just be intentional about your body. And I don't even want to say about looks, because I feel like if you are taking care of your body, working out and eating right, okay? And I know that's hard to do nowadays because the food source is so tainted. I often tell y'all about this app Yuka, Yuka, and you can scan just about all of your food to see what's in it, right? So when I go to the grocery store, I don't really have a lot of stuff in my basket because a lot of the stuff is just tainted with chemicals. But you got to be intentional about what you eat. And trust me, it's hard. And I tell you all the time, I'm going through menopause. As y'all see, I sweat a lot. And I have hypothyroidism, which means that sometimes your metabolism is slow. Like I said, if I'm not careful, I can gain 5 pounds a week if I'm not careful, right? So you have to be intentional about your body. You have to be, because when we get older, you start having issues, right? You start, like Donovan said, high cholesterol, which I've never had high cholesterol issues. But you start having these things happen to you. So you have to really be careful. Because like you said, then you start ushering in the C word, cancer and all that other stuff. So a lot of this stuff is avoidable. And I know it. I'm speaking for women, and I'm going to give it to you, Donovan. For women, especially when we get older, we say, I am who I am. I was fine back in the day, but I'm just going to be big, right? Ain't nothing I can do about it. So we have this defeatist attitude when it comes to our weight and things like that. Child, I'm gonna just eat what I want because I'm not whatever. And it's like, nah, because I've had to have this talk with a friend of mine, like, no, don't give up. I said, age has nothing to do with it. I said, because you might be here another 20, 30, 40 years, but how do you want to be here? Do you want to be here sick and in pain and you can't move around and somebody coming to take care of you because you just, I'm just eat what I want? I said, no, you got to fight for it every day.
I mean, the health thing is so important. I was on my podcast earlier this morning, and as you guys are aware, the Karen Bass thing, and cash payments for immigrants, right? That's what they're suggesting. Do you guys notice there was no study about that? Did you guys notice that there was no study? Just give them the money, but we have to have a study. But using that analogy in the Karen Bass thing, and if you guys saw the press conference, she was saying, well, I ran into a family where one of the parents was detained, and, they depend on that particular person, to help them make rent. Now half of the provider is gone, right? So this is her justification for giving them cash payments. She goes, so now the person can't pay their rent and they're facing eviction. It is said in the Black community, 70% of Black households are led by a single Black female. Where's the cash payments for our Black women that don't have the second provider, in the home? You guys know where I'm going with it. I know there's technicalities to it, but in general, wouldn't that be the same argument for us? So what I'm going to go back to with the girl with spiritual mind and body and all that other stuff, we have to get together spiritually in mind to bring our community back together and bring the Black man, the Black woman back together. I see so many of you women stressed out. I'm talking about ready to give up. And I'm not saying a man is the solution. That is not what I'm saying. But it would be a lot easier if men and women, I'm going to tell you as a single man, my life would be a lot easier if I had a partner that's going to be with me. We really have to get off of this. I don't need no man. I don't need no woman. This war that we have between us, and come together. Because if we've been watching what is going on, they've moved past on us. We're out here on our own, y'all. It is up to us now to rebuild, reset, and rebuild. And by doing that, we have to reset our minds. Well, what do you think about that?
Oh yeah, we definitely have to get our minds together. And you said they have passed us up and all that. Well, a number has been done on the Black man and woman in America, right? Just from this institution of slavery, and it's still being done in every way, shape, or form you could think of, whether it's our music, the things that we watch, the things that we read, the neighborhoods, just the food, everything you can think of, right? And of course, within the last couple of years, you usher in the Black man versus Black woman hate, affair and all this other stuff. That was, I think, one of the final nails in the coffin to get this Black man and woman hating each other even more so than ever. So, yeah, we need each other, right? But I'm going to say this. I'm a single woman, and I'm not single by choice. Unfortunately, in most cases, that was chosen for me behind the man cheating, okay? Now, I've often had people say, well, it must be, some of the choices that you're making. I'm like, yeah, I'll concede some of that. I said, but some of that is, if a person tells you they're this, that, and the other, or whatever, oh, I'm never going to cheat. Oh, I'm a good man. You take them at their word, right? I've been cheated on by every man that I've been with. Every man that I've been with, excluding my high school sweetheart, but every man that I've been with has cheated on me. And I will say every last one of them wanted to come back. So I must not have been that bad, right? So I say all that to say, and this is for women too. You got a good woman or a man, why are you cheating on them? Because the one thing y'all do, right? And I really am passionate about the conversation of cheating, not just because it's happened to me and it sucks, right? That does an emotional job on the person that has been cheated on, which is why a lot of people have been cheated on. Like, I'm good. I believe y'all, especially for me as a woman, I believe y'all men, y'all like to get around, okay? So you just ain't gonna do it with me, right? But I'm passionate about it because, for one, you could just say, I don't want to be with you, right? But then the other thing is, when y'all get out there with Miss Fancy Pants or Mr. Fancy Pants, you thought the grass was greener. Then y'all get out there and see, oh, it was cow manure. And then you want to say, hey, big head, how you doing? You want to be on the phone all day long with that person. It's like, where your girlfriend at? Where your man at? The person that you ran off into the sunset with, where they at? Oh, you found out they wasn't nothing either, huh? Oh, you found out that you tricked off on a good man or a woman. That man that loved you so much would do anything for you. You didn't have to really work hard and none of that, but you let Mr. Dreadlocks and Dangalang come along, and that's who you risked it all for, huh? That's who you thought you was going to just, I'm good. I got me somebody else now. Hell, I even been told, pick up the pieces. When I was like, why? What happened? You just going to have to pick up the pieces. All right, bet I'll pick up the pieces because that's what I do. But then Karma said, hey, sucker, I got something for you. When I tell you Karma got on that Negro and did not turn him loose, that's why I always say sometimes, don't do God's job. Don't try to do God's job, because God ain't sleep. And the reason why a lot of times when we get done wrong, we're like, where is God? God, I need. Oh, I'm waiting for you to let me do it, because you're doing my job. So whenever you think you done, then I'm going to get in there, okay? So don't ever think that they won't get it back. But I say all that to say, like I said, I'm very passionate about this conversation. If you think that you're going to get out there with somebody else that's better, weigh the situation. This is what I got. Yeah, he get on my nerves sometimes, but you know what? He's loving, he's faithful, he's honest. He'll do anything for me. I don't want for nothing. Okay, so that's who I'm with. Dreadlocks and dangling. What does he got? Oh, he's just got dreadlocks and dangling. Is that short term or is that long term? Because if that's all he got, after a while, all right. So then you give up everything you got for dreadlocks and dangling, and this man who's got a broken heart, he may or may not love again because of how you did him. I did everything for this woman, and look what she did to me. And then, of course, she wants to come back. Oh, I've been thinking. Oh, you thinking now? You wasn't thinking before you was getting your back cracked. Yeah, now you're thinking. I bet you are thinking because you out there and you found out not only did he have dreadlocks and dangling, he also had some hard times for you. And he was also slanging the dangling and the dreadlocks for 15 other women. You weren't special, ma'am.
You're kind of describing the Tiamari situation. All you hear this woman talk about is her divorce that she initiated. It's all I hear when I see stories of her is her just like regretting. That's what I'm getting from it. But I'm going to say this for the men. With what is going on in the world today, and I understand there's been 2 generations of young men raised by women. You're still a man. At the end of the day, you are still a man. I know you've picked up some feminist traits and stuff. That's fine, whatever, but you're still a man. You're still a man. And as a man, we have to reset and lead. If you are a leader, now this is my call to the men, no matter what you do in this earth, and you're leading, good women will follow. At the end of the day, good women will follow. We're not worried about the feminazis. The good women will see what you are doing and they will follow. And we need to do this now because, as I said on my podcast, when you guys hear me ranting and raving on my podcast and debating and dogging out people, whatever I'm doing, I'm not doing that for our generation. Demetra's cooked. She's done. I'm cooked. We're cooked. But those grandbabies, they will have no political voice or say in this country. If we don't make a stand now, like the minister said, there's nothing else that needs to be said. Nothing. We're done at this point. If you don't get it by this stage, there's nothing else to be said. Our grandbaby, I am fighting now because Demetra will tell you, Demetra's fine. I am fine. When I go to glory, I'm going. I'm set up. I got a house. Everything's done. But those grandbabies will not have a chance. They will have no political voice. Damn, even right now, they can't even buy homes now. They got to rent them. We've got to make a stand now. And I'm giving a call to the men to start standing up and just lead. Just lead, and good women will follow.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There's a lot of women, like I said, I know mostly good women, and most of us are single. Again, it's not by choice. It's just, we just not gonna, I'm sorry. I'm not, like I said, at my big old age of 54, I will not, there's a million things I would rather do than be with a man who cannot be disciplined. And that's my next point. Discipline. You have to be disciplined. Because I always say that about, women. Women see men that look good. Oh, I wonder what he got going on. But sometimes you got to say, well, I'll never know, right? I got a man at home. He's good to me, this, that, and the other. You have to exercise discipline. You chasing after everything that's running, like an old funky alley cat, just running around, a funky dog in the street. Yeah. That's what they do. You ever drive by, you see a dog just humping away on another dog. It's like you probably don't know that dog from nobody, but you just, okay, she's in heat, I'm here. Why not? You know, as I always say, Earl Nightingale said there's only difference between a man and a pig is that the man has a mind. Okay, they both have a brain, but the man has a mind. So the man is supposed to operate on a far higher level than the pig. Okay, when you look at a pig, and I'm gonna keep giving this example because it just is great. When you look at a pig, they throw the slop. He don't say, what is that? I'm particular about what I eat. He just, he don't care. Or she. They just eat. And you throw some more out there. They don't say, well, I'm kind of full. Let me, They just continue to do it. But a human is not going to go to the slop. They're not supposed to. But whenever you, as a man or a woman, just indiscriminately, just out there, just with any and everybody, you might as well be eating slop. You might as well be right in the pig pen with the pig eating and behaving and wallowing around in the filth like a pig. Because just like that pig, you have no discipline either. So whenever you think about, and I'm speaking to men and women, I'm going to just be out there with no discipline. You think about it. Am I a pig? Or am I higher up on the food chain where I'm supposed to be exercising thought and discipline and rationale and all of that? So that's why I said for me, there's a lot of reasons why I'm single. See, as I said, I'm 54. I learned a lot of hard lessons. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Now, does Gloda want to be in a relationship? Sure, she does. But do I want to be in one just because the rabbit is getting old and the train is getting ready? Nah. If I got to die single, then I'm going to die single. You know what I mean? Because this is just me. I will die by myself before I let another sucker play in my face. That's just me. And listen, I love the brothers. Oh, yes, I do. Gloda is not, she ain't blind, okay? Oh, yes, I see a lot of good-looking brothers, but I'm like, if it happens, it happens. Just saying.
What was the name of that one guy in South Africa that was really up on you? What was it, watermelon or?
Sweet potato.
Potato, yeah, sweet potato. Everywhere Demetra goes, there's always a guy pushing up on her, and trying to see what's up. But again, like I said, we're at a point in the United States where we're doing a reset. It is obvious both of these parties don't give a damn about us. The blueprints are out there. Message to the Black Man by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's all there. It's telling you what you need to do. You want to follow Marcus Garvey, we can follow Marcus. However you guys want to do it, the blueprint is out there. But Black men, stop sitting here waiting for the women to do something, because, and I'm not saying all women are doing this. We see what a lot of these women are doing. And I was watching your video this morning on the mayor in Philly. How she, I don't know how tough it is and all this other stuff. We see what the women are doing. And these are the women that don't give a damn about community and whatever. Fellas, we need to reset. We've tried women leadership. It's not working in our community. It's not working in the aspect of being positive toward our community. So stop with the excuses. Stop waiting on the side. And I know you've been ingrained to listen to mama and all them that have all this power. No, you stand up and be a man and lead. Because at the end of the day, isn't it funny how these women keep telling us, well, a traditional man's supposed to provide. But then, they want tradition, but they want to be feminist at the same time. It doesn't jive. You can't have it both ways. Just do what you're supposed to do as a man, and good women will follow that. And I'm seeing more and more of the younger women seeing the mistakes of grandma and whoever else and their aunts and saying, I'm not going down this route. They're getting married and they're not struggling. The day of struggle is over, and you want to know why it's over? Donald Trump and his big, beautiful bill. We have to reset. They're cutting Medicaid. They're cutting food stamps. They're cutting Section 8. What are you going to do? Are you going to let your women and your children just live in the streets, which is pretty much already happening? Or are you going to be a man and stand up and start providing? That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and with that, I'll say just from for the women, and I'm gonna say this as lovingly as I can: shut your mouth sometimes. Okay, and I'm saying this as lovingly as I can. Listen, I was 20 before, I was 30, and I was sometimes, you know what I mean? But as you get older, you're supposed to say, okay, that's because I was inexperienced. You know, I'm trying to get along in relationships, but you know, some of y'all out there, boy, I tell you, I some of these videos I see of these what you not gonna do? I'm like, oh, how do if I was a man, I would it be. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. You know, it would just be like I can't function. You know, because it's very emasculating. Some women. And like I said, I'm nice nasty, right? I can be. And I think that's probably true for most women, especially us sisters. We can be nice nasty, but there's a time and a place to be nice nasty. You ain't supposed to be nice nasty to your man who's nice and loving to you. And you just going what you not gonna do, and I'm finna tell you and all this other stuff and what you better do. And no. And then you want him to climb in the bed with you. That's why I said he like, I can't, oh, it just won't. You want him to climb. What's wrong with you? You must be with somebody else. No, it's your mouth, boo. Your mouth is like, it's repellent. I just can't do it, you know. You know what I mean? So it's like women sometimes. My dad says this all the time. And I'm sure it's NOI based, Nation of Islam. Learn to be shut mouth. Okay? And I'm saying that as lovingly as I can, because I know some people are like, why you shut your mouth sometimes. Just shut up. Everything that come in your mind, and I'm saying this because I do know some women that just go, whoa, and everything that come in your mind ain't got to come out your mouth. Sometimes you just got to have a conversation with yourself and say, I just want to cut loose. I want to bring out the razor blades and the lemon juice. I want to let this mother know that I ain't to be played with. You go play with your mama and I'll shut your mouth. Because the minute that man starts saying, hey, the stove about to close. I'm about to be right back. I want to catch it for it close. Or
and he never returns.
Yeah. Hey, baby, you know, they offer a little overtime at the job. I'm gonna be home. You know, don't wait up. Or he just stopped coming home altogether. Then you go, why? I don't know why he don't want to. He just, and then the minute he walk in the door, I don't understand what you. Shut your mouth sometimes, and I would say, take it a little bit further than sometimes. Your mouth is like nails to a chalkboard to the manhood of a man, his emotions. Because most men, I don't know, maybe they had a mama like that, okay? But even to that degree, a lot of the men, they mama don't talk to them like that. And don't no man want to feel like he getting in bed with his mama. You done sound like a damn chihuahua all day long. Don't no man want to. Like I said, if I was a man, I wouldn't come home to that either. You be looking for me. You tell all your mama and them, I ain't seen it. I ain't seen Rufus in a minute. It's your mouth, boo. It's your mouth. So anyway, we're going to get out of here. But I agree with the lady, the young lady. And I know some people get mad. But yeah, you should strive to be fit, not just for your partner, but for you. Okay? I'm single. When I go somewhere, I don't go looking like a, ragamuffin because I ain't with nobody. I try to put a little something on, whatever. I do it for me. I got a whole bathroom full of perfumes, that's out of this world. And I don't say, well, I ain't with nobody, so I ain't going to spray. I got some on right now, okay? I ain't with nobody, so I'm not going, because I want to smell good for me. When I go to the gym or walking or whatever I do, I ain't with nobody. I do that for me. Now, when and if that ever happens, he'll benefit from all of that. But you kind of want to do those things for you. And the last thing we really didn't touch on is spirituality. I don't go to church, but I'm connected to the source. Okay. I know from who is my provider. Okay. I'm not remiss in that at all. Right. And the other thing is emotions. If you ain't never been to therapy, you might need to go. And I talk to people all the time. Hey, you need to go unpack all that, because what you're going to continue to do is keep getting in the same old cycles with people, not really realizing why you behave the way you do. A lot of us are all just been traumatized from childhood. Something's happened to us, no matter how big or small, and we just didn't unlearn to unpack that, right? So we got to get our emotions together, because a lot of things become triggers and we just don't realize that they're triggers. So when you go and you talk to somebody, you'll have an aha moment. Now, I tell y'all, I went to therapy twice, okay? As an adult, I went and I didn't need to go, because I know people who go and they've been going for years. It's like you just as cuckoo as ever. You just as cuckoo as the day you started. So I say all that to say, because you could go to therapy, but if you're not willing to inculcate what has been said to you, then you're just wasting time. That therapist is like, well, they ain't gonna listen, but I'm gonna get paid for this hour. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny that you say that, because I'm a in military therapy, PTSD, and all that other stuff that they mandated us to go, so I don't kill anybody. But the funny thing is, I have a degree in social and behavioral science, and so when me and my therapist get together, we kind of psychoanalyze each other, and she learns things from me, and I learn things from her. And I mean, she's just fascinating. We get together. I send her, even when we're not in session, I will send her videos of things that I see, and then we talk about it in the session. And I'm going to tell you, my mindset of letting things go has been great, because now I let shit go. I used to keep things and internalize things and just keep it to myself, because we always think, oh, you see that one person that's like really stoic and it seems like nothing ever bothers them. That's because they're keeping everything inside. But you don't know what that person does when they go home. What was that song by, is it Kiki Shear or the Mary Girls? It was called the God in Me. Remember that song? It's the God in me. And she was talking about how the lady would go home and pray to God and cry and whatever she's doing. You don't know what baggage they're carrying. They might look fine to you, but you don't know what kind of, like you said, trauma that they might still have to unpack. And you got to get that off of your shoulders.
Yeah, like I said, when I went to therapy, the story I was telling her, she even came out of character. She was like, what? I said, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Let's go get that meat.
Right. We ride at dawn, right? For real. She was like, wow. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here. But she asked me, have you ever read the 4 Agreements? I was looking for it somewhere in my books. The 4 Agreements. Last name is Ruiz, I think. Miguel Ruiz. I don't know. Something like that. But the 4 Agreements. I said, yeah, I read it. My brother gave everybody a copy for one Christmas. She says, read it again. And I did. And I learned so much. My favorite chapter, it's not even a big book. It's a small read. Is don't take it personal. It says, somebody says, oh, you're the best person I ever met. Oh, I just love you so much. Say, don't believe it. Don't take it personal, because that same mouth will tell you you're the worst person ever. I never want to speak to you again. Let's say you don't take that personal, because that's something that's coming from within them, right? They got to deal with their own stuff. So I've learned not to take things personally. People say stuff to me about me. Okay. If that's how you feel, I'm not going to lose any sleep. But I want to say this to y'all. And I'm saying this from an older woman's point of view, okay? Do not think that it is your job and your mission to take and fix somebody who's not mentally well, who's not emotionally well, who is not financially well and that's not physically well, and this is for men too, okay? That is not your assignment. It's not. Now, if you really groove and like this person, hey, baby, I'm going to need you to go sit on somebody's couch. You need some debt counseling. You need to get yourself together. I'm not saying you got to look like no supermodel and be wealthy like Jeff Bezos. I'm not saying none of that. But what I'm saying is I have worked so hard to get where I am and to be the person that I am. And I cannot afford, especially emotionally, to deal with or try to fix somebody who has not tried to do that themselves. You cannot fix somebody who is broken. That is their job to do that, because just like you did your work, they need to go do their work. And I can't speak for God, but I don't think God has put us here on this earth to deal with people who refuse to do the work. Do we have compassion for them? Sure. Oh, I'm really sorry that that's going on here. You know, why don't you read this book or go, nah, I'm good. And guess what? I'm good too. It's not your job, okay? You owe you a good life. You owe you a healthy life. You owe you a decent bank account. You owe you those things. You don't owe nobody else that, especially somebody who was like, well, you know, I've just been, you know, trying to get myself together. Well, you try a little bit harder. Surely you'll be successful. Just ain't going to be with me, though.
Sound like that rapper that has the 40-something-year-old rapper that's still going to make it. He's still doing gangster rap.
Listen, I don't have a problem with you rapping, homeboy, but you need to be at punching the clock somewhere until those dreams come true. Because what I hear is, oh, baby, you know, I'm a backpacker. You know, I'm a rapper, this, that, the other. I'm just waiting for my big break. What I hear is you want me to help finance that foolishness. Now, if you financing your own rap career, great. I know, I believe in you. It will happen. But you need to be punching the clock, because what I hear is burden. That's what I hear. Burden, woe, destitute. And then not only that, you want me to finance that, and you're out here in these clubs and these bars and all this other stuff out with the thoughts. And while I'm helping you pay for all that, I'm wondering when you're going to come home. But you're out late night at the club because some producer might come through and see you. So you got to be out there. Not with my money. I'm just saying. So anyway, we're going to get out of here. Hope that this has been very helpful. If not, you just keep it coming back. You'll find something that you can use. I promise you. But we'll be back here at 5 p.m. Central Time. Do not miss it, as it is our live conversation. I don't know what we're going to talk about. There's so many things going on. Hopefully I'll find something within the next 3 or 2.5 hours at the point that you see this. So stay tuned. Peace.